Happy Friday. Tell us, where you're zooming in from. Give us a wave. Go ahead in that group chat. Let us know where you are. Oh, I see lots of waving. Hey, guys. Well, welcome to another Friday class with Joe. I know you all are so excited. I don't know if you're more excited to see Joe or to learn something on this class, but either way, we are so thrilled to have you all joining us today. Just like all the past classes, don't worry if you're taking notes and you missed something, because this will be recorded and this will be posted along with all the previous classes. Michaels.com/classes is where this will live. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free, throw them in the group chat. We do keep everyone on mute just to help with background noise, but we will get your questions answered either in the chat, or I will shout them out to Joe and see if he can answer them for you. All right, Arizona, Texas, Florida. Oh, I could really use a beach vacation right now. North Carolina, killer. Well, all right, so like I said, welcome everybody, and I am going to hand it over to Joe.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Keep the hands up, wave them like you just don't care. What is going on? Happy Friday, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. I see some familiar faces, and I really appreciate the people coming on back. All the newcomers, thank you so much for your first time here in one of these Zoom classes. I am Joe with Siser North America. I've been doing these Zoom classes with Michaels. How many weeks, Catherine? It's been
like 9, 10.
Yeah, something like 9 or 10. Yeah, that's about right. Keep telling us where you're watching from. We really, really appreciate everybody taking the time out of their day today. It's a beautiful day outside here in Michigan. I saw some Michiganders here. We're finally hitting almost summer weather, and it's staying pretty consistent. So we've been doing a lot of fun projects, and I've been on a really good streak, and I'm trying to do something different each time. And the Michaels team is fantastic for letting me host this, and have even said, because of how many I've been doing, you can do some repeats, but I'm like, I got to do something different each time. I got to try to figure out something. So today we have a pretty interesting one about a product that you may have seen in the Michaels stores. But before we get to that, my number one lesson each and every time is how to properly pronounce. Say it, Catherine.
Siser.
Say it one more time for the people in the back.
Siser.
Siser. So if you've ever seen any of these rolls at your Michaels stores, or if you bought it online and you're saying Siser, Sister, or Sister, it is Siser. So that is lesson number one. Thank you guys so much for learning that, and the class is done. No, I'm just kidding. So today we are going to go over, again, very unique product. One that you may have seen at the Michaels stores, you may have seen online, and you kind of didn't know what you would do with it or how it works. And we're going to be talking about Siser EasyReflective Heat Transfer Vinyl. So these are just strips of it right now, because I already cut out what I needed to do for today. So it is kind of a silver, and this has got the carrier sheet on it. And this is the backing. This is the dull side where you would cut it on your vinyl cutter. So the rolls of Siser Heat Transfer Vinyl all come the same way. So you just got to be careful as to what product type you're using. So this is just an example of our Easy Weed Heat Transfer Vinyl. But for the Easy Reflective, it would say Easy Reflective on there. We only have one color. It would be gray. Now, the uniqueness about this product is for those that do anything with construction or maybe some athletic stuff, because the unique side of this heat transfer vinyl is obviously, hence the name, reflective. So if you've ever seen any of those construction outfits, or you may have seen some kind of sportswear that has a reflective element to it, this product is very, very similar to that. So that is kind of what we're going to go over. And I have a couple examples of stuff that I've done in the past. So this is one I did in our Siser group. And unfortunately, I really wanted to be able to showcase it by showing you how it reflects, but I can't find a way. The perfect way to really see how much it reflects is to take a photo with your camera flashlight on. So when you take a photo of it, make sure your flash is on, and as soon as you take that photo, you're gonna totally see the reflective beads and how much it does reflect. So unfortunately, I can't like fully showcase it, but this is it on a project I did. I guess if the light hits it just right, you'll really be able to see that it reflects. This was a project I made earlier on in the quarantining. So this was just on a safety green or safety yellow type 100% cotton t-shirt. This was a project I did a while back on a hat with the reflective. So again, like you can kind of see it in my light. It's kind of poor lighting down here, but you can see the reflective side. Really where you're gonna get the full effect is again with the actual flash of your camera light or something like that. So, so I'm already ready to go and do the application. So like Catherine said, during any time, please do not hesitate to chime in the chat. If you have any questions regarding the EasyReflective or any Siser products, we can go over that. But make sure you do put that in the chat and make sure it goes to everybody. And then Catherine can just cut me off along the way and we'll go with that. So I'm already set to go. I am working with a Gildan heavy cotton long sleeve tee. Now, what are these about, Catherine? You guys have these at Michael's, right?
Yeah, it's like a raglan, like a baseball tee.
Yeah. So it's like a baseball tee. It's really nice feeling. It's got a light feel or a finish to it. It is stretchable. 100% cotton. Now, I always explain this too. When you get these rolls of Siser heat transfer vinyl from Michael's, this paper that comes on it is your tech sheet. So when you get it with EasyReflective, it's going to be obviously more information on the EasyReflective. This is just a glitter heat transfer vinyl one, but they're all pretty much the same. It'll tell you which recommendations of the fabric we suggest for that. These QR codes will take you right to our app, which is a very helpful tool, a Siser North America app. And then we have the application instructions right here. Today, I'm actually going to apply my designs with this awesome heat press. And Catherine can tell you when this heat press is going to be available and maybe see it better in the other camera. So as you guys can see, this is the heat press that I'll be using today, which will be available at Michael's when, Catherine?
We are so excited to announce that this will be available in September. So this is going to be just such a fun launch that we get to do with Siser, and we're so excited to bring it into the stores.
You hear how excited she sounded? It was unbelievable, right? So
All right.
that's what we're going to be applying today. And also, this is another kind of part of the project I'm going to talk about today, and what a lot of people kind of ask with Siser heat transfer vinyls and decorating garments. How is it to decorate the front and back? Are you allowed to do that? Can you do that? Absolutely. And that's actually what I'm going to do on this raglan t-shirt here. I'm going to decorate the front and back, both with EasyReflective. I'm going to use this heat press. I'm even going to show you, because my back design is larger than my surface area of this heat press, so I'm going to have to press it in 2 different steps. If you are using a home iron, question I get all the time, I think heat press better than the easy press. My personal opinion, yes. But everyone has their own ways of doing their own projects. And if you're using a home iron, if you're using an easy press, absolutely you can apply the Siser EasyReflective. I have been really showcasing this heat press in all my classes so far, because I want to make sure that your transfers are properly applied. And the most important part is the application with Siser heat transfer vinyl. So making sure you target the correct temperature, the correct time, and the correct pressure, which obviously with either a home iron or an easy press, the pressure is up to you, and it's a little bit more of a variable. So it's very, very important that we have the pressure set correctly. So yeah, that is, any questions so far? Sweet.
Got it.
Okay. What?
You're good.
Catherine, have you used Easy Reflective?
I have not.
Why not?
I don't know enough about it yet, so I'm so excited for this class because now I can learn how to use it and try and use it, and hopefully I don't totally fail.
Absolutely. I mean, we'll never know until you actually try it. So today, again, I have my transfers already ready to go here. And actually from that camera angle, you could, the way you're seeing that design is actually reflecting. Like, so if we switch cameras to the other side, and you'll see how much duller it gets from without seeing the reflecting. So the light itself shows that reflection, and you can see it pretty clearly right there. You see that? So that is all the reflecting, and that's just very faint. But this is going to show what you can do, whether you are, again, if you do work with your local construction, any kind of athletic stuff that you're going to be outdoors, signs that you can still heat apply on. This is all heat application. Outdoor flags, all sorts of stuff that you can do to decorate your outside. That is a lot of potential you could use with the Easy Reflective. So without further ado, we're going to get right into the application. I'll just move the camera from here so we can get a good look. Now, I'm going to do a front first. And the way the front works, I will be able to apply it in one press. So everyone asks, how do you line it up? And people kind of get blown away about how, you know, I guess centered I get my designs without having to spend too much time. My trick, when you get your heat press, you're working with 9 inches by 12 inches. So that's your surface space for this heat press. Now, what I like to do is I like to evenly grab by the shoulders of the garment and place it to where the tag of the shirt is as centered in the middle of my platen as I can get. That's my best way of kind of just eyeballing where I need to go. And then from there, I kind of gauge it off of the sleeves of my shirt, and I make sure that I'm right in the center the best you can. And there you want to check your pressure. This right here on the heat press is my pressure knob. So what I'm doing is actually decreasing the pressure. So as you can see, that's really light. It doesn't take much to close. That I know is not going to be enough pressure. So I am going to increase the pressure by turning it clockwise. And now my pressure is a lot more in the medium to firm range, which is what we need for the Easy Reflective. Now, I already did on all my Easy Reflective transfers. I'm sorry, I was ahead of time. I just wanted to make sure that I had my cut right. The cut settings for Easy Reflective are very similar to just regular Siser EasyWeed. So if you've ever used our EasyWeed, the same cut settings, whether you're using a silhouette, whether you're using a cricket, you can absolutely use either of those. Just make sure that you do a test cut and make sure that your blade is in good condition. Now, I'm going to give you full disclosure that Easy Reflective, because of the reflected beads inside of it, may have a chance to start filing down your blade on your vinyl cutter. It is a little bit of a more rigid product, so you do want to be cautious on how much you use of this product, and then say you segue back to EasyWeed, there is going to be a difference on how they cut. So always make sure that the condition of your blade is in good condition, and that you do a test cut before you do the large run. So this is the front. It weeds just like EasyWeed. It has a sticky backing. So the carrier right here is sticky just like EasyWeed. So all the other production end of it is very simple. You just got to make sure your cut is good. So now what we're going to do, line that up the best in the center as you can. Now everyone also asks, like, what is your rule from the collar? Traditionally, you can either use 3 or 4 fingers from the collar to where you place your transfer. That's generally like a basic rule of thumb. So if you have your collar up at the top, you can eyeball it or just kind of gauge about 3 to 4 fingers down from the collar. The other thing people kind of suggest sometimes, and I do it once in a while, but just remember it will leave a crease. You can fold your shirt in half, like so. Say took my t-shirt, I folded it in half as even as I could. And then what you can do is lay it on your heat press without a transfer on it, press it, and it will cause a crease down the center. Now you can use that crease as your guidance to make sure you're actually on the center of your shirt. That does help, but just remember it does cause a crease down your shirt. So,
Hey, Joe.
yep.
Is this a mirror cut or like my favorite pattern vinyl? Do you not mirror it?
Absolutely. Let's not confuse people, Catherine. Now, with all but the Easy Pattern heat transfer vinyl by Siser, all of our heat transfer vinyl is reverse or mirrored. So when you do cut, like Easy Reflective or Easy Weed or Glitter or any of our other heat transfer vinyls, you do mirror it. So this was one where I mirrored it. And again, when you set it up on your vinyl cutter, you're going to see this shiny side. This side is going to face down on your cutter. And then you're going to cut mirrored on the reverse side. So this dull side is your adhesive. So after that's done, you weed it out, and that's where we're at right now. Because now when I laid it down onto my shirt, I'm looking at it how I want it to be. And that's what you got to remember. So, all right. So for a cover sheet, I'm just using basic parchment paper, which is something you can totally get. Michael's has this, right?
Yeah, we have it.
So parchment paper is a great cover sheet, whether you're using your home iron or you're using an easy press. It is recommended to use a cover sheet. With the heat press, you can obviously use that cover sheet, but you may not, you don't necessarily need to. I get called out all the time. So we're going to press this for about 15 seconds. And again, the pressure is very, very important to make sure that you have even pressure for this, because this product is really thin. Despite how thick the carrier sheet feels, it's actually a really thin product. And then it is a peel hot, so I didn't wait. And you can even see it here, just from this angle, that you can see the reflecting elements of the Easy Reflective. So I decided to do this little tone on tone, but here, check that out. Look, you can kind of see it now. What do you guys think? It's subtle enough, perfectly centered, right, Catherine?
It is perfect, Joe.
But as you turn your garment, you can really see the different effect once the light hits it to really make it pop. So what do you guys think of this? I'm going to be doing it back now. Any questions so far?
What about the heat settings for this product, Joe?
Okay, so it's just like Easy Weed. That's the best way to say it. So if you're used to Easy Weed, it's 305 degrees, but it's about 15 seconds for application. So it's a fast application. And as you saw, it is a hot or warm peel or a cold peel if you want. So you can peel that right away, which is cool. You don't have to wait around for that. And again, the carrier sheet, so this backing feels heavy, so it makes it feel like the product's going to be heavy. But as you saw, and what you're seeing here is the Easy Reflective on it. So as you guys can see, it's super thin, kind of has some stretch to it depending on how you do your design. So a design like this is pretty open, so it allows me to stretch it more. But like I'm showing you here, just off of the way that light hits it, and I'm a big fan of the tone-on-tone stuff, so that was why I really wanted to show this project. Now, I'm going to be pressing on the back side. Now, this is what we get a question all the time, is can you do that? Absolutely. You can totally press on the back side. The way I load up my shirt onto my heat press from the back side is I go off of the front part of the collar. So I make sure that off of the back side of my off of the back side of the shirt, I make sure all of the collar is off. That gives me the space I need to where it lines up on my shoulder. And that's where I want it, because here is my back design. So check that out. That's what we're going to be doing right now. So this is, again, all Easy Reflective. And I'm going to have to press this because this design is 13 inches long. And the way I'm pressing it is, again, I have 9 inches down here. I have 12 inches across. So this is about 12, or this is about 11 and a half across and almost 13 inches down. So I'm certainly going to have to press this more than one time. And that is completely okay to do. All right. Any questions? We're going to keep cruising.
What are your recommendations for washing this? Is it safe to wash, or is it going to come?
Absolutely. So just like all our other heat transfer vinyls, 100% safe to wash. Very important to make sure that you have it applied correctly. That's number one. You certainly want to make sure that your application is properly bonded to your shirt. You want to wait at least 24 hours before you wash it after you've pressed it. And coincidentally, this product right here, EasyReflective, has one of the most rigid adhesives out of any of our heat transfer vinyls. So it really has one of the most aggressive, strong adhesives. So again, if you have this properly bonded, you should have absolutely no concern about washing it or drying it. Just make sure you wash on a normal cycle. Ideally wash inside out if you want to. Use normal detergent. Do not use bleach. Do not use liquid fabric softener. Liquid fabric softener. Then when you wash, or when you dry it, you can dry it 100%, but don't dry it on a high heat temperature. You can use fabric softener sheets. You're totally fine with that. But if you want to preserve the overall finish of this kind of heat transfer vinyl, then we do suggest just hang drying it. And that's okay to do too. So good question. All right. So we're going to do a two-step press. I am going to press this first portion of it. I'm just kind of going with it. I actually didn't even look if it was lined up. So if this works out, it's just that, again, you do this for 14 years, you kind of start eyeballing the certain things you need to look for when you go and lay out your garment. All right, I'm not going to peel this part. I'm going to evenly just shift the other bottom part that was off the platen as much as I can and just bring it on forward. And it's okay if it overlaps with other areas that you've already pressed. You can absolutely press those areas again. You're not going to hurt anything. I'm just going to make sure that it's flat, no creasing, nothing like that, and go back and press this second part for the 15 seconds. So that's another thing people are scared to do, is repress an area they've already pressed. It's not going to harm anything for the duration and the time we're set to. If you were a little bit higher on your temperature, then you may have concern on making sure that you're not burning away your adhesive. That's the most important part. So we're going to do this, try to do this all in one peel. Look at that, fresh. Came off like butter. That's almost 13 and a half inches. Now here you go, check that out. What do you guys think?
That's pretty fancy, Joe.
Isn't that fancy? I just whipped this up right before I came on live. So what do you guys think of that? That's a front and back. I press the front without having to thread it over this. So again, as you're seeing, you can absolutely press the front and back. It's not going to harm anything. What do you guys think? Pretty sharp? As you can see, really see the slight reflection, and this is very low light down here. But when you have that really high light, whether it's a light from a car, a light from your phone, those kind of things that flash by, you're really going to see these designs pop. And what I'll do is I'll take a photo with my phone after this is done and post it up in the Siser North America Sport Group to show you guys with the flash what it actually does. But you can see when that light hits it, what it really does for that EasyReflective. So what do you guys think? Pretty cool?
I think people are loving it.
Right on. Any questions on this?
Yeah, so actually there's two really great questions. Let me rewind back a little bit. If you were going to apply heat transfer to a polo shirt that has buttons, could you still use that heat press?
Yes, that's a great question. Now, these are amazing tools This is one of them. And this is something I would recommend for any polos or zip ups. Do not be afraid to press those kind of garments on these heat presses. And maybe that'll be a class I do in the near future. But these heat press pillows are what you need to use ideally to really make sure that the area you want to press rises over those buttons. So if you threaded this heat press pillow, which is perfect for your left chest for a design, and say you had a button here or a zipper, and you didn't want to get those buttons, you didn't want to hit those buttons or zippers, you would use this heat press pillow, which would rise that area above. So you would get that pressure that it still needs, and the heating element will stay predominantly on that. So do not hesitate to use any of those polo garments for those. And yeah, maybe that's probably a good class to go over. So absolutely. We'll probably talk between that and like maybe a zip up hoodie or something like that. So great question. What was the other one?
Yeah, there was another one. If you do see lift up of the vinyl on the garment, would you suggest using like fabric glue to tack it back down?
No, if you're using Siser heat transfer vinyls, you can just simply go back and reapply. So that's what's really cool about our products is if you say you're using a home iron or an easy press and maybe you miss a little section up at the top that is peeling up a little bit after you washed it, it didn't all completely come off. All you have to do is get your piece of parchment paper, lay it over that, get your home iron ready, and just make sure that you go and tack that down at the correct temperature and make sure you're applying pressure when you're using those tools. That's why I really always like to stress and show you guys this heat press, because I feel a little bit more confident in all the shirts I've ever done, years and years and years of doing this. Like the shirt I'm wearing right now is actually all our Easy Weed stretch. This is actually all Siser Easy Weed stretch on this shirt. I've already washed this shirt over 30 times, and all this fine detail is still on the garment. So it's very, very important to make sure that you apply correctly. But if you do see any lifting, do not hesitate to go back and reapply. So great question. I do want to make a mention too, because I talk about layering a lot. Now, this Easy Reflective that I showed you today is not a heat transfer vinyl by Siser that we recommend layering on top of. So I guess I want to make sure I phrase that correctly. You can layer the Easy Reflective on top of Easy Weed and any of the Easy Weed family, as long as the Easy Reflective is the top layer. Now, if you wanted to layer Easy Weed on top of Easy Reflective or any of our other heat transfer vinyls, we do not suggest doing that. So I hope that just kind of clears up any questions you have about layering and if it's possible. As long as nothing's going over the Easy Reflective, you can layer it on top of a layerable Siser heat transfer vinyl. I hope that makes some sense. Any last questions?
Could you use a towel if you don't have the heat press pillow?
You can, but a towel could have the potential to give you uneven pressure. So if you take a towel and you fold it in half, the area where it's bent is going to be a little bit more firmer than the other side. So the firm side is going to be fine, but the other side is going to cause it to slant down. That's going to still give you uneven pressure. So if you use a towel, make sure that it's folded to where it is even all the way around it. The other remedies we kind of recommend if you don't have these press pillows is to, if you have a yoga mat that maybe you don't care about, the mat of the yoga mat will work. If it's a smaller project like a left chest on a polo, you could use a piece of mouse pad. If you have a mouse pad laying around that you don't care about, you can snip that up and then kind of stack it, and those will work as decent remedies. A little bit more confident in those than a towel sometimes, but don't, you could certainly use a towel. Just make sure that you have it folded. I don't really know the correct way, but like a way where it's a little bit more even all the way around. Does that make sense? I hope.
I think at one point you've mentioned that there's like a Siser app or a Siser website that you could find the different temperature settings. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So as I mentioned at the beginning of this class, these tech sheets that come on your rolls of Michael's Siser heat transfer vinyls, hang on to them. I say it every time. Hang on to these pieces of paper. I know we're excited just to get to the material and toss out, you know, the wrapping with it. But this is actually pretty important. In the center here, and again, this is an older roll. I think we're changing them periodically, so they may look a little different than what you're seeing right here. But I'm pretty sure we'll still have text explaining how to get to the Siser app. And that's what this is right here. These QR codes, you can look that up, or simply just on your phone, if you have that readily available, you can look up Siser HTV on your App Store or Google Play. And it's a free app that we have that is a very, very helpful tool for all that stuff. We have our color swatches in there. We have our heat application instructions, which is what I think was asked. So if you need to refer to anything, we have our videos, which I have a ton of other videos on YouTube showing you application demonstrations. So it is a very, very helpful tool to use. And again, it's free, so you can use that. Or simply, as Christine just mentioned there, you can go right to our website, which is just SiserNA.com, and you can skim through and check out all the same information right on our website. And all our website is just a helpful tool. That's all we do. Again, we don't sell anything direct. Obviously, everything we have is at Michael's. So, you know, we just try to help out and you know, give you guys suggestions with your application instructions and cutting recommendations for each product. So it is a very, very helpful tool. Any other questions?
Not another question, but I totally forgot to tell everybody that
There it is.
right now at Michael's, when you buy 5 or more Siser HTV rolls, each roll is $9.99. So it's a limited offer. Better go online, shop.
Yes.
Up. I know we've all been running through all of our vinyl stashes during this quarantine, so might be the best time to start stocking back up on your stash.
Like, can we switch that other camera angle real fast? It's so cool to see it because I can see it from there. Like, this is reflecting right now because what I see is it's just gray and kind of gives a tone on tone, but you're looking at it right now again with this reflection. I'll even try to turn this light up. See, look, just turning that light up and what it did to the effect of the EasyReflective, just to show you guys like the stuff you can do. And then now if I take that lighting down, like turn it all the way off, like that's what it looks like. So just to show you guys kind of a little bit in action of what this is going to look like on that garment. It's very, very cool. But look at that deal is a big time, and as Christine just put it there, rolls are normally $18.99 to $24.99. That's a huge deal. So it's running all the way through tomorrow. Guys, take advantage of that while you can. Again, you can even pick up one of these shirts while you're there, right, Catherine?
You absolutely can. And if you don't want to go into a store, or if your store is not open yet, order online. Get the deals while you can. The shirt's available online as well as the Siser HTV rolls.
That's right. So that was the lesson for today. That is Siser EasyReflective. I hope you guys got a little bit of inspiration on this product and hopefully aren't so reluctant or maybe apprehensive to try it out. Give it a shot. If you have more questions, feel free to ask. You can reach out to the Michael's staff. They can always reach out to us. You can always reach out to us. Feel free to follow us on our Facebook page too. We have a lot of awesome content that we go over all the time. We've been doing a lot of fun projects with more Siser products to show you more inspiration for other projects coming up. I've been on a roll with doing these classes every Friday, so if you guys ever want to, feel free to keep chiming in. It's always about the same time. Next week, I have a class that's going to give you some Father's Day, hopefully some ideas for a project or two, and it's also around the same time as summer officially begins. So I got a fun little project I'll be doing next week. feel free, keep on joining us for these classes. And if you guys have anything specific you would like me to talk about that incorporates Siser heat transfer vinyls, please leave the suggestions in the comments and let your friends know that if they missed it today, you can always go back and replay it and watch it later on. The michaels.com/classes. Is that what it is?
Yep, you nailed it.
Nailed it. All right, so michaels.com/classes, and you can go back and rewatch all the different lessons I've ever done. And those are all the lessons up there that are all stacked up. So I've done a ton of these, and you guys can go see what we've done. They're all different. So we definitely want to keep the inspiration going, and we love to get any kind of feedback. So feel free to leave all the comments you need about all these projects you want to see. And I will see you guys next week. And thank you so much. Thank you, Michaels, for having me once again. We'll talk to you all very soon.
Thank you, everybody. We hope you have a really great, fun, and safe weekend. We are always here to help you keep making and keep creating, especially during these crazy times. So please don't hesitate to reach out to Michaels, visit us on our social platforms, reach out to Joe, to Siser. They're always so helpful. And hopefully we will see you next week.
That's right.